Welcome back to the channel, good friends. Brian from Apex Auction Car Reconditioning. Speaking of auction cars, the Estate Auction 89 Chevy 2500. By the way, along with this thing looking like it was ready to spurt trees from every corner, crack and cranny, it didn't start, it didn't run. The fuel was bad, it sat for a long time. The fuel smelled horrible. So we changed that out, we tuned it up. And it still runs a little rough, but it's one of the reasons we got it so cheap. We're going to bring it back to life because it has such a solid foundation, hardly any rust, no rust on the rockers, no rust on the quarters, no rust on the frame. It's just really holding up, so we're going to bring it back to life. And I did a test spot on this area right here in one of the videos, and there is some gloss and some shine under all this oxidation, staining, and whatever is on the surface here from hiding under trees for over a decade. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark off some areas and I'm going to show you what different teams and combinations of pads, polishers, and compounds can do with such a terrible paint job. Let's get started. In a previous video, we washed all the growth and years of dirt off of this thing. Look at those rockers. No rust. Look at the corners of the beds. No rust. Corner of the cab. No rust. Bedsides. Yeah, we have our normal topical scaling. No big deal at all. No rust back here. No rust on the tailgate. It's just, well, it just has this surface rust here, but no bubbling whatsoever. Does need a rear bumper. We're going to do that. No rust down here. I mean, it's just, it's almost unheard of. Rockers, perfectly fine. So this has a great foundation, and it is worthy of a recon and restore job. So this is the first area that I sectioned off, and you can see everything that's in here: staining, oxidation, etching, scratches, swirls. And we're going to start off with this combination, a very common, popular combination on the channel here, 3D1 and a 50/50 pad. This combination normally reserved for 1-steps on medium clear. It will be pushing it to see what this combination can do on this section. I will admit that, but I am kind of eager to see what it can do. Spread out the compound a little bit here. Correction speed, 1 inch every second or two. It's funny, I had a comment on one of my videos. I forget what polisher I was using. I don't know if it was the DA or the rotary, but they commented on how slow I was moving the polisher. You have to give the polisher and the pad and the compound or polish a chance to do its work. But yet, you do have to move the polisher away back and forth in your section so you don't get into trouble and spike temperature. I just told them to watch, pay attention, and learn. There's so many bogus videos out there on paint correction. It's a shame, but I try and show you guys almost on a daily basis what works and what doesn't. You see the results. And there would be no reason for me to steer you guys wrong. I have to admit, this combination is working a little bit quicker than I expected. I mean, normally when you're working on oxidation, heavy oxidation, your first pass is going to be scooping up and shaving off all of those dead paint molecules before you even get to correcting. So, I mean, the oxidation, it's prevalent. It's not really deep, but let's get a microfiber, wipe this off, and see what improvements we made just with a one-step doing 2 passes, left to right, and then up and down. By the way, again, not single stage, or this pad would be completely red or maroon. So it is clear, and this paint job was in '89, right on the cusp of when they were transitioning from single stage paints to clear coat. So I got to tell you, this is a darn nice transition from the sun-beaten portion of the hood here to this section. We go from blurriness to a nice crisper reflection. Now we do have some of the deeper staining like here and there, and some of the deeper scratches. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get you to see those. This one goes across here. Here we have one. There we have another one. But other than that, a huge jump in gloss and crisp reflections. Let me get the gloss meter reading and show you the difference. And somebody else wanted me to get paint depth readings on this as well. Let me do that on the hood for you. All right, before we even get started with the measurements, normally on something like this, we want to see between 5 and 6 mils of clear coat, color coat, and primer underneath. And I mean, we're damn close right here on the fender. I'm telling you, these were the good old days. I miss the days when we actually got a lot of material to work with, you know, to polish and to sand. Normal, completely normal. Now, I noticed on this hood here, it was abnormally low. So this might have been weathered or polished at one time. But we can see there's no difference between what we did here and what we did here, barely. So this would be the safest route, if you ask me, because we hardly removed any measurable clear coat going from this to this. Let me get the gloss meter readings and put some numbers behind what we are seeing. From 49 gloss units, 44, 45 to 97, guys. 96. And that took seconds to correct that. The owner of this would be ecstatic to have change like that. But let me know down in the comment section your opinion. With something like this, the situation that we bought it, and what we could flip it for. We want to have as little time into it as possible. We already have time into this, draining the fuel, putting fuel filters in here, getting it running, and a tune-up, and polishing it. We can add that time to it. But in this situation, this step here would be perfect. Now, if you bought it for yourself, maybe you want to go further. Maybe you want to try and perfect it a little bit more. So let me mask off a section and I'll show you another combination. Now this year, make, and model, the finish is hard, stubborn, medium to hard, somewhere in there. So you can get a little bit more aggressive than the first step that we took. And do it in one step without having to finish, unless you really have the eye for it. So let's step up in aggression when it comes to pad and polish, and do this area here, and we'll see the difference. And the next combination will be a microfiber cut pad with the 3D ACA 500. Another excellent team on medium to hard, stubborn, or really troubled clear coat and single stage finishes. I test a lot of polishes and compounds, and I really was high on the 3D compounds and polishes when it comes to their quality for quite some time. And since then, a lot of polishes and compounds have come out. Chemi has a great line, Phoenix EOD. I just have to be honest, even though I know 3D was, I believe there was a transition there when it comes to ownership or management, their abrasives, I don't know about anything else, but their abrasives are still top of the line with their ceramic alumina abrasives. They're abrasives that break down quickly and are adaptive. The AAT, the abrasives that go with microfiber, foam, and wool pads, still to me, and this is just personal preference, are top of the line. That was one pass. Now this will be the second pass. We went left to right. Now we're going to go up and down. Again, no transfer. So let's clear coat. Boy, it looks fantastic as well. And I can, now what I don't know if you could see this, but if you look at the above lights, look at the lines of lights there, and then come over. They're crisper over here. And the reason is the more aggressive pad leveled things off, glossed things over a lot better than this here. But that means that we dug deeper in this area and we removed a little bit more clear, and that's going to be the trade-off. Again, just look at the reflection. It's kind of more rough over here. Over here we really smooth things out. All you see is like kind of the orange peel texture of the paint, which is normal. Is that going to show in the numbers when we use the paint depth gauge and the gloss meter? Let's find out. One thing when you're taking paint depth measurements after polishing, you want to wait until that area has cooled down, because if it's swelled, it's going to throw off your numbers. You're going to have thicker numbers than the portions of the panel next to it. So now that it's cooled down, 4.1. So we moved a little bit. We removed a little bit more than in this section over here. I think that one was, barely measurable. But this one here, there's going to be a difference because we cut a little bit deeper. So I just wanted to show you that. Let's grab the gloss meter. And we'll go from 46 to, wow, 98. So that's even higher than this section over there. And that does show, I mean, it's a lot smoother. It's glassed out a little bit more than over here, and a lot more imperfections were dug out, but we dug deeper. Quite honestly, in this situation, either one of these two is the way to go. There's no reason to mask off another area and do wet sanding or the rotary with a wool pad. I guess you could say the surface isn't bad enough to warrant the type of cutting you would need to do. We get surfaces that are oxidized way more than this, and you saw that on portions of the Hummer where there was no reflection at all, and we had to do wet sanding and use the rotary. For this situation right here, one of these two is going to be more than enough, so I'm going to stop here. Let me know if you want to see me correct the rest of this vehicle. It's funny, I'm trying to put out content that you guys enjoy. So I get a ton of views on this type of content, but when I go and do the whole car, it's like crickets, tumbleweed. Nobody wants to see it. So then I don't do it. And then when I don't do it, then I get in the comments section, hey, we'd like to see the whole car corrected. Well, then view it and show me. You know what I mean? I'm trying to find content to put out there for you guys to enjoy even more. And I'm flexible. Now I'm flexible. I have the time to do whatever you want me to do. So you can also voice your opinions and maybe things you want to see in the comment section as well, because I read every single comment. But yeah, this is great. This truck is going to look fantastic. If the whole thing turns out like this, the owner, if he saw this, he would pass out. Huge night and day difference. Brian from Apex Auction Car Reconditioning, that's going to do it for this video, and I'll catch you in the next one.